Imagine a board game where one player owns everything. That's a monopoly. In the real world, it's not as simple as a board game, but the idea is the same. A monopoly is when one company controls an entire market. They're the only shop in town, selling a product with no close substitutes. Think about it like this. You're thirsty in the desert, and there's only one oasis. You're stuck paying whatever they charge for water. Monopolies have that kind of power. They call the shots on pricing, supply, and even quality. Why should we care? Because monopolies can be bad news for consumers. Remember that oasis? They can jack up prices because there's nowhere else to go. They can also slack off on quality and innovation. After all, they're the only game in town. Monopolies are a big deal in economics. They raise questions about fairness, efficiency, and the role of government. Understanding monopolies helps us understand the delicate balance between market power and protecting consumers. Monopolies don't just appear overnight. They have ways of keeping the competition at bay, like building giant walls around their market. We call these barriers to entry. One barrier is owning something unique. Think of a rare mineral needed for a life-saving drug. If one company controls the entire supply, that's a monopoly built on scarcity. Another barrier is legal protection. Patents and copyrights give inventors exclusive rights to their creations for a period of time. This encourages innovation, but can also lead to monopolies. If a company corners the market on a groundbreaking technology, then there's the cost of entry. Some industries require massive upfront investments, I think telecommunications or pharmaceuticals. This can scare off smaller competitors, allowing established giants to maintain their dominance. Finally, governments themselves can create monopolies. They might grant exclusive rights to operate in a specific industry like utilities to ensure essential services are provided. However, this can stifle competition and lead to higher prices for consumers. These barriers to entry are how monopolies maintain their grip on power. Understanding them is key to understanding how monopolies form and persist. With no competition, monopolies become the puppet masters of their markets. They have the power to set prices, control supply, and even dictate the terms of trade. Remember the law of supply and demand? In a normal market, prices fall when supply is high and rise when supply is low. But monopolies can manipulate this delicate balance. They can artificially limit supply to drive up prices, squeezing every last dollar from consumers. Monopolies also have the power to engage in price discrimination. This means charging different customers different prices for the same product or service. Think of airlines offering different fares depending on when you book or how much luggage you have. But it's not just about prices. Monopolies can also stifle innovation. Without competition, there's less incentive to improve products or develop new ones. Why bother when you're already raking in the dough? The power of monopolies can have significant consequences for consumers and the economy. Understanding how they wield this power is crucial for developing policies that promote competition and protect consumers. Not all monopolies are created equal. Some are considered natural monopolies because it makes economic sense for only one company to operate in a particular market. Think of utilities like electricity or water. It wouldn't be efficient to have multiple companies laying down pipes or power lines. The infrastructure costs are simply too high. In these cases, it's often more practical to have a single provider. Natural monopolies are often regulated by governments to prevent them from abusing their power. Regulators set price ceilings and ensure that essential services are provided to all consumers at a reasonable cost. However, the line between a natural monopoly and an artificial one can be blurry. Technological advancements can disrupt industries once considered natural monopolies. Think of telecommunications, where the rise of mobile phones and the internet challenged the dominance of traditional landline providers. Understanding the concept of natural monopolies is essential for striking a balance between economic efficiency and consumer protection. Section 5. Kings of the Hill. How monopolies stay on top. Maintaining a monopoly is like playing a game of King of the Hill. You're constantly fighting off challengers trying to knock you off the top. Monopolies have a few tricks up their sleeves to maintain their dominance. One tactic is using legal means to protect their turf. They might lobby for regulations that make it difficult for new competitors to enter the market, or they might engage in lengthy and expensive legal battles to tie up rivals in court. Another strategy is to buy out the competition. If a smaller company starts to pose a threat, a monopoly might simply acquire them, eliminating the competition before it becomes a serious problem. Monopolies also invest heavily in research and development to stay ahead of the curve. By constantly innovating and improving their products and services, they make it harder for newcomers to catch up. Finally, monopolies cultivate relationships with suppliers and distributors, locking up access to essential resources and distribution channels. This can make it incredibly difficult for new players to gain a foothold in the market. Understanding these tactics is crucial for regulators and policymakers who aim to promote competition and prevent the abuse of monopoly power. Section 6. Unmasking the monopoly tools to understand the game. Economists have a whole toolbox of techniques for analyzing monopolies and understanding their impact on markets. One tool is analyzing the demand curve. This shows how much of a product or service consumers are willing to buy at different price points. Monopolies have the power to influence this curve, but understanding its nuances helps us predict how they might behave. Another tool is calculating marginal revenue. This tells us how much extra revenue a monopoly makes from selling one more unit of its product. By comparing marginal revenue to marginal cost, the cost of producing one more unit, we can determine the profit-maximizing price and output level for a monopoly. Price elasticity of demand is another important concept. This measures how sensitive consumers are to changes in price. Monopolies operating in markets with inelastic demand, where consumers are less sensitive to price changes, have more power to raise prices without losing customers. These analytical tools help us understand how monopolies make decisions and how those decisions impact consumers and the overall economy. Section 7. Monopolies in the Matrix, predicting the future of power. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace, and the nature of monopolies is changing right along with it. New technologies, globalization, and evolving consumer preferences are reshaping the competitive landscape. Computational simulations and network analysis are becoming increasingly important tools for understanding these complex dynamics. By modeling market interactions and analyzing vast data sets, researchers can gain insights into how monopolies might evolve in the future. One area of focus is the role of technological disruption. New technologies have the potential to upend established industries and create new opportunities for competition. Think of how ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft disrupted the taxi industry. Another area of interest is the rise of platform monopolies. These are companies that control digital platforms connecting buyers and sellers. Think of Amazon, Google, and Facebook. These companies have immense power due to their vast networks of users and their ability to control access to information and markets. Understanding these emerging trends is crucial for developing policies that promote competition and innovation in the digital age. Section 8. Monopoly Makeover, how tech is changing the game. Technology isn't just changing the landscape of monopolies, it's also providing new tools for analyzing and regulating them. Machine learning and big data analytics are revolutionizing how we understand market dynamics. These technologies allow regulators to analyze vast amounts of data to detect anti-competitive behavior and predict the impact of policy interventions. For example, machine learning algorithms can analyze pricing data to identify instances of price fixing or other forms of collusion. They can also track mergers and acquisitions to assess their potential impact on market competition. Big data analytics can be used to map out complex supply chains and identify potential bottlenecks or points of vulnerability. This information can help regulators promote competition and prevent monopolies from unfairly controlling access to essential resources. These technological advancements are giving regulators new tools to level the playing field and ensure that markets remain fair and competitive. Section 9. The future of power. Monopolies in a changing world. Monopolies are complex economic entities. They're not inherently good or bad, but their potential for both harm and benefit requires careful consideration. As technology continues to advance and globalization further connects markets, understanding the dynamics of monopolies will become increasingly crucial. We need to find ways to foster innovation and economic growth, while also protecting consumers from the potential downsides of unchecked market power. This requires a nuanced approach that balances the benefits of competition with the need for regulation. The future of monopolies is uncertain, but one thing is clear: understanding the complexities of market power and finding ways to harness it for the benefit of society will be one of the defining challenges of the 21st century.